Hi everyone, welcome to Laravel Chat Application Day 10. Today we're going to show you how to send a message and receive a message. So let's dive into that. So in our last episode, we have showed how to add all of the users and these last messages here. And today we're going to show if we click select on user, we have messages of this user like so. And if you click on John Doe, you would see John will be selected here, and all of the messages between you and John Doe shown here. So this is simple. That also, if you want to send a message, it will be automatically added. The page will not be refreshed and anything will not happen. So let's start. But before diving into our actual video, so I'll introduce a e-commerce solution, which is SureCart. So if you are a developer or a business owner who wants to make an e-commerce solution, it will be a good fit for you. Like it has one of the most best UI. There is a product shop list or product list page. It is little much for me that you can customize these as you want. And also lots of features are adding. So we'll show that. And if you go to product detail page, you can see there's product detail page. You can go click this add to cart with some here. And also there is a cart, the cart look and checkout. It's pretty much simpler. Not all the includes and like this. So it's not messy, it's quite simple. And you can add any payment gateways at any step very easily. And there is also some instant checkout and also subscription system, installment system, and so much stuff. And one of the most important thing is it's actually its settings and every other stuff is very much user friendly. You can see these borders, that's what I them can link to with any shipping very easy. And you can also even download an invoice very easily. You can also track your abandoned orders, and that's pretty awesome. And in product creator interface, that's pretty much simpler. You can add any price, like price could be any types. So there are lots of integration support here. You can also check that. If you are actually a developer who wants to create an e-commerce solution for your client, so it will be a best suit for you. So yeah, you can see you can design anything. We're using Gutenberg block. Actually, it's using WordPress as a front end and Ruby on Rails as backend. So it's an world-class solution. So you can use it for your next project. So let's dive into our works. So before start that, let's first ensure that your Vitesse and node is running, your PHP service is running, and definitely your WebSocket is running. So that's it. You must be done. First, what you will do, and now look, if we click on this, then we want to go to a specific route like chat/1. So one would be the user ID of this chat. So it could be anything like we're starting ID with 1, so that's why it will show up. If you click on John Doe, it will show each ID and it will be that route. And in that route, this UI will be checked. In our chat sidebar, we can see like currently we were showing all of the recent messages, and instead of div, we will add a link here, like link. And link will be like inertia this, inertia D. So it will be like quoted in here. You can see we have to, for a link, we must have to add a ref to, right? So what would be our ref? So our ref would be it's in actually user ID. So that's an we need to get it here. So all shift up are in formatted, both to that page or not. So if we click on chat trace, okay, then look, it's go to that page. But we have not do anything for that to handle that. But yeah, it's working. Okay. So how is that actually working? So in our chat controller, we have handled that. Like if we pass a receiver ID, then like it will actually render. It will not break something. That's why it's actually working with a receiver ID. For this, what I prefer, as we were using like get user messages it's like string or integer. I'll prefer to cast it to int so that there is no future issues arise. Okay, and messages, and we need to find actually the receiver. Who is the receiver? How we can find? Let's make it simpler, not so complicated. So it would be like user. It's in user table, and then the find receiver. So we just find it, and if it's not there, it will return null. So effortlessly will handle that case if we work with this receiver. So in here, if we see as we're using a console, so chat pages/chat, we're showing this in console props. So let's see what props we're giving here. So auth errors, recent messages, and if we reload it, so yeah, now we're adding one more props as receiver. So if we go to a specific page, then we can get the receiver. But let's just go to chat and let's see what's the receiver. Receiver is null. Okay. So if we don't go to any specific page, that means it is null. But if we go to a specific page, then if we say that is the receiver data. Okay. So we can use the receiver ID and email and name, whatever places. That's fine. We have actually designed this UI previously, like if there is a user selected, then this UI will be open. So we need to handle that, right? So let's do that. So we have the props. So props dot receiver, and then what there be receiver? It could be null, right? So we must need to handle the optional thing. So receiver dot ID. So if there is receiver found, then we show this UI. Otherwise, we should that one. So let's just come this from here, and if it's come, and let's begin try operator, and for this, let's make it a fragment, or it's the Alt Shift Alt, and after these, so we'll add another, and that would be this UI, right? Okay. So if you all shift apps, then it will be automatically formatted with its necessary stuff. So if we go to that, it's automatically added. Perfect. So if we go to the dashboard and chat, it's like this. But if we click on a route, then it's the UI is coming, but not the real messages. That's not added yet. So now let's add those messages. So how we can do that? So in the chat messages, we can pass the messages, right? Messages equal to props dot messages. So and if we see in console, we have passed that messages already, right? So in the props, look, there is messages. That means so that's perfect. And now let's make this dynamic. So instead of static, so we'll pass the messages as props for this chat messages. So in chat messages, we have two kind of UI. Like if some could be sent or some could be received, right? So that look at this receive chat and this is send chat. So this is one class, and there is also some background and other stuff. So we'll keep this two chat actually. This one send chat and one receive chat. Okay, and in here we have passed the messages props. So we can now grab that and show it in here, right? So now we'll map through this, right? So let's map it like messages dot map, and somehow actually there is no possibility that these messages could be empty for our case. But so like if message is empty, that entire will be like triggered. There will be no data. So if messages, and then we can like show message, single message or text, and then we can print our data. Or we can like use fragment for this person. So fragment will be automatically for that. And inside of that fragment, we can paste our code. Okay. And for fragment, let's edit key. Add the key. And for message, we'll show the message. But it would be like if first we need to identify if this is like received message or this is sent message. How we can actually determine? So if we want to const is received message. So let's make a simple method. Is receipt, we'll pass the messages there, and if message dot receiver ID, like So that means we need to pass the current user ID here, right? So let's pass auth ID from our chat, like from here. And what is that? Auth ID equal to like props dot user dot ID, right? So if you can see, if you just scroll a bit, like if you can see the props dot auth dot user dot ID, right? So it's props dot auth dot user dot ID. So we have first auth ID in here to here. So what you need to check, message dot receiver ID is equal to auth ID, then it is received message, right? So if it's received message, then the UI will look like this. So we can do two stuff, like we can like make this all of the classes dynamically, then just add it here. So I think it would be better to like that. So let's do that. So first what you do, we'll make it with backtick so that we can inject some dynamic class. So instead of when it will be received chat, if it's is received message, then it will be received chat. So let's make it. So is received message, then we'll add this received chat. Else sent chat, right? Hence that it is. And another is this colors, BG violet 400. So BG, if it's received, then it is this. Otherwise, it would be different. Like if it's received, then it would be yes. And definitely for this, we need to add the backtick so that you can inject dynamic variable here. Okay, that's good. And for PXPY2, everything same text as well, and this text color is different. So for this, we'll also make this dynamic like this. So let's copy this from here. Oh, actually, we have not finished it. It would be like G violet 1 instead of Sanchat. Okay, and same for this text what? It would be text or slate for if it's sent this. So copy this and cut it, paste it here, and for send message case it would be this. Okay, so then it's good. So we can actually remove it, this, and instead of this, what will show? Message dot message. Okay, the message will be displayed here. So let all Shift F, just it will be formatted. Perfect. Let's see if anything breaks. So let's go to chat again. If we click on channel please, oh, that's good. Simple message. If we click on John Doe, yeah, it's also the same. But let's see in database if those are actually the same. So next is important thing is this thing, so that if the name would be display here, we will display here, and this also change this icon. So how we can do that? So in chat, there is a chat user info header, right? So in here, let's pass the receiver. So if we pass the receiver, then we can get the receiver data there, right? So if we go to chat UI interface, so it's currently no fiasco. So it would not be like that. It would be there would be receiver. Sorry, it would be as a props receiver, and instead of in here, it would be receiver dot name, right? Click on here. That is something gray. Receiver is not defined, and in here, let's see. Oh, sorry, it would be props dot receiver, right? Click on here. Yeah, look, this changed, right? If we click on John Doe, this changed. Perfect. So now change the image, right? For image, we'll just use this kind of approach in chat sidebar. We have show the images like so. Let's copy this and we can use this in chat info header. So instead of that, we can use also receiver.avatar. So actually we'll use avatar, but not for this tutorial. In later we'll use that if receiver.avatar, then it can also dynamic. But for now, let's keep it like that. If receiver has avatar, not has avatar, then it will be a font or some such like so. Okay. So perfect. Okay, so now let's do the send message part. So if we click write any message and it's send, then it will be sent. Okay. So and one thing, so let's go there. So what is that UI? It is chat input UI, right? But so now if we write something, we must have to store this to some state, right? So how we can handle this? So definitely we will follow the Laravel approach, how Laravel follows for the others. But so let's go to the login. So you can see in login, in form, we must have to make this on submit. So others. Chat. So we'll wrap this in a for and on submit. Or actually put this kind of stuff that let's take it. So but it is using some other stuff. So yeah, where it's storing its data to a state, it will use for hope. So that's imported from inertia React. So it is imported and it will get some many things. So for our case, there is not so many things. For our case, only there is message, right? So we just add one message. Okay. And here it would be moved to this, it would be cut it and move it here. And also we'll use how other components like text input. So for our case for here also, instead of text area, let's name it like text input. Import it. If we import it, this will be imported somewhere. So it will be like this. Placeholder, it would be placeholder. And how they handle, let's see how they handle this. So they use name, value, and on handle it. Okay. So let's copy this name and value for our cases. So our cases name will be message, and there is data from data property. It will be data.message. Okay, and we need to detect how it's changed, like handle change on handle change props. It will do something like set the data or whatever, this kind of stuff, right? So let's copy this. On handle change handle, how it will be event targeted name and event targeted value, and remove this other because that is for checkbox. But for our case, it's not checkbox. So on handle change, this is perfect. So perfect. And actually, on submit, we will not actually submit to this route. Where we'll submit like it would be here. If you see the props, it would be LCD. There would be some routes, chat.store. So we'll use this route, right? And there would be an additional props supported for this route. So it would be chat.store. And we need to pass the receiver ID here, right? For that. But in here, there is no receiver ID. So let's pass let's get the receiver from Beckett. So that's it will be receiver.id. We need to pass these, like whenever we have called this chat input, we need to pass this receiver, right? So receiver equal to receiver. Okay. So let's pass it. And now we can get this. Let's see if everything works or breaks. So receiver is not requirement. We have to break it. So it will be props.receiver. That's great. So actually we'll improve our code, but let's wait for now. So okay, if you click here, check Chris, let's send a message. Hi Chris. So I'm Maniruzzaman-Akash here. So I'll send the message, hi Chris. Wow. So okay, let's see if the message has been sent. Wait. But is it the sad message that you guys are supposed to the same? So let's try with the John Doe. Hi John. Okay, so it's also showing here. That means if we also reload, let's reload. Wow, if we reload, it's actually here. That means if you add something and see the network console, you'll see the hi. Look, there is API is called actually. Then it could get some details and with this payload. Perfect. So that means we have done this SMS sending part. Now what we need to do, we need to make sure if someone sends a message, will then reset the message property, right? There is also like reset property. So which data will be resetted? Message data will be resetted, right? Let's see if this works. So another enter, and yeah, look, this clears up. Perfect. And if we reload the whole page again, it's still there. That means it's perfectly working. Okay, we're seeing the sender and receiver is not working properly, so we have made a mistake here. So yeah, we'll forget it, we keep this bracket. And in here, we need to pass this message, right? So it like this. Receive message, yeah, format it, and let's see. Wow, so its color is changed. But for some cases, we want this in right side, right? We don't want to see all of this at same side, right? So we need to fix that also. So that means it was in this justify start. So that means we can let's take this in one side, like receive chat justify start and sends chat. It would be justify and justify and. Okay, let's see. Word. So let's see if we go to John Doe. That means it will send hello again. Wow. So it's this is going if we press again. Well, if we press just enter, it's showing here. Perfect. If we just reload the page, if we come back again, it's staying. So now let's log in with John Doe and see what happens. So I'm going to incognito mode and just log in as John Doe. So log in as John Doe, go to the chat UI, and we can see there is no John Doe here because he's sells John Doe. If you click on Maniruzzaman-Akash, we can see Maniruzzaman-Akash sending me lots of messages. Okay, good. So let's make him hi Akash. Okay, so I've sent it as a John Doe. I send, and look, there is the last message instantly like reflects there. That is awesome. And if we come here and let's see, wow, that means yep. So that means John Doe replies me. Perfect. Awesome. What's I doing? Okay. So and if we just reload it, and what look for now, this is good. We have done the sending and receiving messages stuff, right? Perfect. So now let's improve our code base a bit. I think I don't like this kind of code. So let's just import it in bit. So remove this. So instead of a props dot passing every time writing like props dot, let's see how many times. It's 8 times we're using like props. So instead of that, we can like use destructuring, right? Props. So what it be like? It be auth, and there be errors, there be reset messages, there be Sidebar, there be messages, there be auth is there. So maybe it's done. So let's see. So and now instead of props dot, we'll remove the props dot, remove. Yeah, so it is deleted here. So let's see if it's work as expected. Okay, so that means and all the other UIs, chat sidebar, it's recent messages that it's pretty much same. And let's also see if there is any console work for our case. Yeah, I believe there would be no console error, but let's see. So no, there is no console error. Perfect. So everything's working perfectly. So today's tutorial is for up to this, and the next episode we're going to implement the WebSocket stuff. So we'll listen the broadcasting event. Actually, we'll broadcast an event and we'll listen that and we'll hook directly. So we don't have to like click voice or key. We don't need to reload to get the messages. So it would be instantly broadcasted all of the registered users. So that's it. So thank you for staying with me. Bye bye.